Entitled parents, malicious compliance. I don't work here, lady, get your own appliance. Kevins and Karens and beggars galore. These are the things that story time is for.
What's going on, my dudes? I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. We're about to get into episode 30 of r/Choosing Beggars. Don't forget to stick around till the end so you can check out our subscriber-submitted story. So without further ado, tell my son that you're the reason why he can't have Christmas. Posted by user, I'm so hungry, man. My first job was over-the-phone debt collection for an energy company. It's Christmas is unfortunately a very common excuse, and a post I just read reminded me of a conversation I once had with a woman who had racked up $10,000 worth of electricity bills over 5 years, exhausted every hardship avenue she had with the company, broke every payment plan, and was a nightmare to deal with over the phone. I was about to have her disconnected for the millionth time. Every time we did, she called the ombudsman to have it reconnected. This time, however, I organized a pole-top disconnection, which takes ages to have reconnected. Again, she started bawling and screaming at me. She also mentioned how it's not her fault that she didn't know heating her pool would use so much electricity because her husband used to take care of the bills before they split up. Not kidding. She was a giant asshole. Anyway, so she continued trying to argue with me and I wouldn't budge. I wanted at least 30% of the final balance in order for her to keep her electricity on. Then this happens. Okay, fine. Well, you could speak to my 7-year-old son and tell him that you're the reason why he can't have Christmas because his mommy has to pay over $3,000 towards an old bill instead of spending it on Christmas. Me. I don't think that's necessary. Choosing Beggar's child. Hello? I was like, fuck it. This wanker wants to use her kid? Then it's on her. Me. Hello. My name is I'm So Hungry Man, calling from Reddit Energy. Your mother and I were just talking about Christmas and how important it is to have electricity during that time. Do you have a Christmas tree? Kid proceeds to explain everything on the tree, including lights. Me. That sounds beautiful. And do you spend your Christmas holidays in your pool? Kid excitedly tells me about how they're going to have a pool party for New Year's Eve. Me. Nah, that sounds awesome. Now, I do have some bad news. Unfortunately, your mommy has been naughty this year and Santa won't be able to visit your house unless she pays her electricity bill. Your mommy said that she was going to use the money to pay for Christmas for you. Do you think this year you can skip the gifts so that your mummy and brother and whoever else comes over can enjoy the pool? Kid goes silent. Will Santa come back next year? Me. Well, if your mum continues to be good, then yes. Kid whispers. Mummy, that's okay. I don't want the electricity off. Choosing Beggar grabs phone, sighs and grunts as she's walking away from her son. Choosing Beggar. You ready? Me. Sorry. Choosing Beggar. Card number 246-799-9955-35097. CVV 679. Expiry 1412. I want to pay $5,000 on it today, and I don't want to hear from you fuckheads ever again. You're the devil. Me. Do you want to settle the account for $5,000? FYI, to settle an account is to pay a sum, cancel your service, and the rest can be written off if upper management approves. She would have been able to settle her debt and start fresh with another company. She didn't know this and didn't let me explain it. Choosing Beggar. What? No, just put it towards my bill and don't call me for at least a year. Don't disconnect me. Goodbye. So I processed the payment of $5,000 and left notes saying she didn't want to settle. I got my manager to listen to the call and check my notes, and she said it's fine, considering I collected half of the owed amount after years of her not paying a cent. TLDR. Lady makes me talk to offspring. I tell child, no Christmas unless mummy pay bill. Child is surprisingly chill and says he wants electricity to stay on. Mummy angry, mummy pay bill. Note, I'm Australian, so yes, Christmas is hot and people swim on Christmas Day. Also note, the kid and I actually had a longer combo, but these are the bits that I remember. It was like over 8 years ago. That is awesome. I totally thought he was gonna get like really malicious with that, like malicious. That's like almost like a malicious compliance. Yeah, it is really. But like that's great. That kid is awesome. I want to high five that kid right now. I'm gonna fly to Australia and find him and give him a big old high five. Good for him. At least he's got more sense than his mother does. Jesus. I want my wedding to be Instagram worthy, but your work is worthless. Posted by user WTF Bonzo. TLDR, we're gonna skip past. Was advised to post this here. I'm a floral designer. Weddings are my favorite things to design, and I can work with virtually any budget, provided that a couple understands what is in their budget and what isn't. I spend the time with couples to ensure they know what is possible based on their budget before I even start a formal proposal. I recently had an initial consultation with a couple. The contact form stated the budget for florals and decor was $1,500. We went through their wish list together, and at the end of the consult, I informed them that based on what they wanted, they could expect the estimate to be between $1,200 and $1,500. This is for a wedding party with 6 bridesmaids, 6 groomsmen, 2 ushers, 2 hosts, parents, and 2 ceremony arrangements. After the consultation, I got to work on the proposal. I finished it and emailed the couple to schedule the second consult, only to be told that their budget was now $600? I emailed back and informed them that there was no way I could do their wedding for that amount. They responded that $800 was their maximum for flowers. Mind you, large wedding party, and they wanted dahlias, roses, and lots of greenery with garden-style bouquets. Long story short, I fired the client, politely, and sent them contact information for a few other florists in my area whose work I respect. They won't do a wedding like this for $800 either, but I believe the couple needed a reality check. In closing, let me say this. Flowers cost money. My time costs money. Don't ask me to do your wedding without making a profit. I'm running a business, not a charity. While my work may look effortless, I spent 4 years in college studying design and countless hours in continuing education courses. That's why my work looks effortless. If you want to DIY your flowers, cool. There are lots of websites where you can order a kit, but don't expect me to do your wedding on your DIY budget. This isn't a hobby. This is my profession. Cutting the budget in half and expecting a professional to negotiate their rates is tacky as hell. If you can't afford the flowers, you need to cut things from your wedding. Choose less expensive flowers or DIY it. Don't try to negotiate the price down. It's disrespectful and devalues the time I've spent developing my skills and mastering my craft. Edit. I did explain to them in my response to their $600 email and offered options to cut the price down. Single stem rose bridesmaids bouquets, corsage for the bridesmaids instead of bouquets, etc. They didn't want anything changed, just wanted me to be cheaper, which is why they were let go. Also, between my education and experience, I have 24 years under my belt, so I know of what I speak. I just don't get it. It's like you see something in writing, so why would you come back and expect to lower your price by, what was it, $1,500? Now they want to pay $600? That's less than half. $1,200 was $1,200 to $1,500, so it was like about half to, less than half. But how do they expect to receive all of the same things that they wanted for like almost $1,500 for $600? Like, what world do they live in? Like, that's real Bridezilla right there. Like, if you think you're actually gonna get that, I think no, bitch, no. And I'll never understand these people that they can't afford these weddings, these big extravagant weddings, but They have to make everybody else's lives a living hell so they can get what they want for their wedding. But it's like, why don't you just wait until you're in a position to have the wedding that you want to have? Why is everybody so freaking quick to jump down the aisle and waste all this money when they don't have it? You know, like, if you really want to get married that bad, go to City Hall. You know what I mean? Have a little small ceremony and then save up the money later down the road to have the wedding that you want. Like, you guys are all slaves to commercialism anyway. The whole wedding industry is. So, like, pretty sure the wedding and engagement rings, that whole concept was invented by the De Beers company. I'm pretty sure I heard. At least engagement rings, 100%, were created by them to sell more rings. So, trust me when I say you guys are falling into the whole capitalist thing. When it comes to weddings, like, I don't know, I used to get excited about it when I was younger, but to me now, it's just, I don't even care if I ever get married, you know what I'm saying? Who cares? But yeah, Karen, you're basic. Pay for my mom's funeral! But I hardly know you. Posted by user Relentlessly Crooked. Skipping the TLDR. My father died in August after a thankfully quick battle with kidney cancer. I'm sorry for your loss, my dude. He took care of his 5 children with a decent inheritance and, bless his heart, prepared for his own final expenses. He also gave one of my sisters his fairly new car and left money for me to purchase the car in the days following his death. Reason being, both she and I really needed vehicles. Our other siblings received equitable pieces of fine art or expensive furniture, etc. It remained quite fair across the board. I have a severe case of scoliosis that has disabled me. I recently had surgery, and the financial hit has been brutal. We are not spoiled children, and Dad has not given us everything our whole lives. He made us work for what we wanted. His estate is not nearly as big as people assume, either. I'm blessed to be getting anything at all, and I know that. He has asked me to pay off my property with his inheritance, and I agreed to do so. I run a rather large scoliosis group at Facebook, and while my father lay dying, I obviously wasn't going to participate much online. A few days after his death in a southwestern state, I began to car shop. This is a huge bonus to me, as none of the vehicles have salt or snow damage or rust. I wasn't buying a new car. I was buying a new-to-me car. I'd come across a listing for a BMW 5 Series with massage seats. This is the epitome of epic win for someone with scoliosis. But it was out of my price range, and so I wasn't seriously considering buying it. In an effort to make a fun post about those delicious massage seats in a car, oh my god, and let my awesome group members know I was still alive myself, I presented an "if you could, would you" scenario. If you were given X amount in cash and could buy this car with massage seats, would you? And linked it. At no point did I say I had that amount of cash. At no point did I say I was buying that car. At no point did I say I was buying a car like it. I even let be known I am not buying that car, but damn, would I ever love to. It was an epic deal at that, like way below Blue Book. I think it was a 2012 with less than 100,000 kilometers, fully loaded with all packages, and they wanted like $11.5 thousand. Oh, I considered it. It was a sweetheart of a deal. At 30 seconds max of hitting post, my inbox dings. My local friend, that also has mild scoliosis, that I have known for a few years now and am in no way exceptionally close with, is delivering some bad news. Mom has cancer. Oh no, that's terrible, I say, already crying because that's what I have been doing for weeks already, and I miss my dad/best friend. I also am exceptionally empathetic at the moment to this scenario. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't afford her funeral. She doesn't have life insurance. Blink, blink. Blink, blink. No, sorry about your dad? No, are you doing okay? No, is there anything I can do to help? No, want to hang out when you get back? Nada. Nothing. Zip. Not one word of kindness or support over the fact that I just lost my dad. She has not once messaged me the entire time I was gone until that post. Yes, it's shocking when your parent has terminal cancer, but unloading that on someone whose parent just died within the last 72 hours of cancer, no pun intended in this group. Look, my daddy didn't raise no fool. I make a fun post about a BMW with massage seats, and wouldn't that be amazing? And she assumes I can now afford a fully loaded BMW 5 Series with massage seats. I wish. I went even cheaper than Daddy wanted me to spend so I could cover my mortgage and pay back some old bills simmering from the days of crippling pain, even prior to surgery. I also deleted that post super fast when I realized just how stupid this scenario might get with people assuming. I didn't kick myself too hard. I was overcome with grief, sitting in 117-degree Fahrenheit temps and trying to used car shop. I'm allowed a moment of epic stupidity. That moment is the gift that keeps on hinting. It's now December. I have heard from this person roughly once a week. Mom's still alive. Yay! But that funeral is looming, and apparently I need to take the damn hint already and just offer to pay for it. She hasn't come right out and demanded or asked, but the hint game is strong. Well, I wish she would, because then I can kindly explain that estates take a while to settle, properties need to be sold, assets divided, insurance takes its time, etc. So, no, I don't have a ton of money right now. And even if I did, why in the world would it ever be on me to pay for her mom's funeral? She did toss a GoFundMe for it just last week, so I guess she has asked me. No words attached either. No, please consider contributing if you can. Just the GoFundMe. Like, since you won't take the hint and offer, here, take care of this already, Ms. Moneybags, will ya? Some of the conversations are getting weird, and they have been since the week of Thanksgiving when Mom was beginning final stages hospice. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't afford the funeral. Yeah, you've mentioned that once or twice, or 37 times. Wouldn't hospice know? So I suggested. Surely there's programs out there for people who can't afford a loved one's funeral. You need to ask hospice. And she whined around some more, and I had to stop myself from saying, well, there has to be help. It's not like they leave dead bodies laying around in the homes when their relatives can't afford to pay their cremation cost. Because that's not nice. And I am nice. And I am charitable. I have given this rather financially poor woman, who in the last few years has far more monthly income than I do, but somehow thinks I have more than her always, money when it would be more than a few days until she got paid. You added Dr. Pepper? Oh noes! Tobacco? That's tragic! And it really does suck to run out of mildly addictive comfort things when you're flat broke. I know. Here's $12. I only have $20 to my name right now, but I can get by on $8. That's happened in the last year, but I don't know, guys. This is just so extra. How did we get from soda and cig money to, well, you've got it. You should pay for my mom's funeral. Then my best friend exclaims, upon hearing this weird tale of mine, that not only does hospice offer programs, they make you discuss it at the start. Find out what the plans are, what you can afford, life insurance, etc. They want to be sure if you absolutely can't afford it that the funds are there and available by the time of death. Because what do you know? Funeral homes don't fire up furnaces to exposure bucks. And again, they can't leave dead bodies in people's homes because they can't afford cremation. Now again, Dad paid for his own cremation ahead of time. Years ago, as a matter of fact. I come from a family that does stuff like that, so I have never had to scramble to afford funeral costs personally, but I understand that it's distressing and very expensive. So if someone could let me know how much you can have covered by assistance programs, I'd appreciate it. Because now I am starting to feel like my new friend here might already have that covered and is using this death as a good way to finagle $2,000 out of me. Now, if we were really close and I would be willing and capable to help out with such a thing, I'd pay the funeral home directly, not hand her the cash. So if that was her point, she wouldn't make any money off me anyway. In a way, I'm tempted to ask questions and see if that's what she's doing. But my curiosity isn't worth the hassle or stress of having doing this as her mom lay dying. That's just crass. Not as crass as 5 months of hinting that someone you barely know should pay for your mom's funeral, though. All because they made a post about a BMW with massage seats, and now you assume they've inherited more money than Donald Trump and ergo should take on this very personal and expensive cost for you. Because you are entitled to that money too. My ma's poor. Your dad is rich. No, he wasn't. So duh, that means you have to pay for my mom's final expenses. What would you do in this situation, people of Choosing Beggars? Confront it head on? Keep ignoring the hints and wait for them to ask? Ignore it entirely, and when mom does pass on, pay your respects, but firmly state you cannot and will not pay for that funeral? She's a really nice lady, and she and her husband have done some really kind things for me. As stated, I will toss money at her anytime she asks. So this makes me feel sad and really, really used. Also, why do you suppose she doesn't just come right out and ask? Oh, I don't know, my dudes. That's a tough one. I think I would confront them and say, listen, it feels like you're hinting to me that you want me to pay for your mom's funeral, but not once did you acknowledge my father's passing. Like, within 72 hours of him passing, you came to me talking about your mom while I'm still grieving. I understand that you're upset, but you did not acknowledge me whatsoever and what I'm going through. So that's pretty shitty. I'm not as rich as you think I am, so I don't know where you think I'm getting all this money, but it's not there, lady. I don't know, man. What do you guys think? This one is... blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't want to deal with this because I kind of had to deal with something like this because when my father passed away, his girlfriend at the time, this gold-digging bitch, left him on a cold table for a week saying that she was waiting to find out if his insurance money was going to come through so she could pay for it. It's like $2,500 for cremation, okay? My dad did not want a service or anything like that. And he didn't have a will either. So I understand what it's like to go through this. But that's your family. You have to take... I was very lucky that I have aunts and uncles that helped me out with this because I didn't have that money all at once either to pay for the expenses, and my aunt really helped me out. But you have to take care of that, like look into the programs, but at the same time OP's concerned that she has the money and she's just trying to get some extra money so she doesn't have to pay out of her pocket, which is still shit. Like, go through these programs. Maybe she's getting money from these programs. Maybe she has the money and is getting money and trying to get more money. You never know with these choosing motherfucking beggars. But yeah, my dad's girlfriend left him just sitting there on the table for a week, not doing anything, not getting him cremated, nothing. So finally I had enough. I'm like, listen, we're going down there. We're taking over. My dad needs to be put to rest, and I've had enough. Like, this is bullshit. She's a whole other can of worms. You guys have heard me mention her before, but she is... If I ever saw her again, my dudes, you might never see me. I might end up behind bars. No, I wouldn't do anything, but seriously, I'd want to. All right, my dude. So the final story of the day is a subscriber submitted story by my Detroit girl, Kailani Yates. So let's get into it. It's called Moving Out of the Hood. Hey, how's it going? I hope you're doing well. I am, girl. I hope you're doing well too. I hope your weekend was awesome. Sorry I didn't send this last night. My kid was acting like a certifiable lunatic and ran me to death until he fell asleep, and then I just passed the fuck out. Of course, he's been running me to death today too. In any case, on to the story. I have come to tell the tale of how my husband and I ended up needing an 8-car police escort to move out of my former house. In order to make it clear why a police escort was required for my husband and I to move out of our house, I must share some tales of our adventures in that most magical neighborhood. No names were changed to protect the innocent because none of these motherfuckers were innocent. Trust me on that. Let us begin our tale. Once upon a time, in the long-lost days of the 1990s, I lived in a neighborhood in the southwest side of Detroit. A gang called the Del Rey Mafia also lived in this wondrous place. The highest-ranking members of, as they like to call themselves, La Familia, were my neighbors. In fact, aside from my husband and I on one other family, every other house on our street was occupied by gang members. All in all, the Del Rey Mafia had over 300 members, or so they claimed. Personally, I don't doubt it, and was even divided into 3 divisions: black, white, and Mexican. The leadership of the gang was from Mexico, but not the good part of it. Needless to say, they could be quite cutthroat if they thought you betrayed them. If the traitor was a family member, they would just beat them up until they were damn near dead. If the traitor wasn't family, they just killed them and left the corpse in some out-of-the-way place. They did the same thing with their enemies. Strangely, they were the most lovely, charming people you could hope to meet if they wanted something from you. On the other hand, Satan himself would run in fear if he was on their bad side. When we first moved into the neighborhood, we tried to keep to ourselves because we had been warned by my husband's brother. However, we were broke, loved to smoke pot, and Pablo sold it for a good price. After a while, we slowly started to associate with them. Eventually, they started coming over to our house when they were drunk and telling us about all the crimes they planned to commit, as well as the ones they had already committed. I didn't really want them in my house, but you don't exactly say no to drunk people that are each carrying an average of 3 or 4 guns on them at all times. However, I, being the soft-hearted person I am, would try to explain to them why their plan would fail. I was actually doing my best to discourage them from hurting other people. This backfired on me because they decided that, since I knew why a plot would fail, I must know how to come up with the perfect crime. They thought that I would be a great choice for leader of their white division. Pablo approached me when I came over to buy a bag and told me that. We need someone smart, someone who knows how to plan things. I, being the dense idiot I can easily be, so can I, don't feel bad, just wished him good luck and started to leave. He straight up had to tell me that he wanted me to join the gang as a division leader. I was like, I can't do that, I'm married. He came back with a thoughtful look and said, Married, huh? I caught the drift a lot quicker this time and clarified. I mean, that I'm past all that young dumb stuff. I'm married, I'm not down for doing all that gang shit. My husband wasn't spared either. At 6 foot tall and weighing about 280 pounds, they decided that he would make a great enforcer. In fact, one night they took him on a fun little ride. According to my husband, they asked him to come with them on a ride just to hang out. At some point during the ride, they pulled up in front of a house, threw the car into park. One of the guys ran around the trunk, pulled out an RPG, rocket-propelled grenade launcher, in case you didn't know, launched a grenade into a house, tossed the RPG back into the trunk, got back into the car, and drove off like nothing happened. My husband was freaked out, but I knew what was really going on. They were testing him to see if he would be able to keep his cool during the commission of crimes. It was a test. They wanted him to join too. Another time, on a cold winter's day, I saw Ricky walking up and down the block, and since it was snowing like crazy and cold as fuck, I invited him in for hot chocolate. He walked into my house and tossed an SKS, which is a Russian submachine gun, onto my couch. For some reason, that concerned me a bit. For some reason, I think you're justified. As to my test, it ended up being a spur-of-the-moment thing that happened on New Year's Eve. Pablo was drunk as fuck and came over to wish us a Happy New Year. I had just got out of the shower and was sitting in the dining room wearing a bathrobe over my clothes because it was cold as fuck in our old-ass house. Now, in my defense, I thought he was falling on me when he went to give me a hug, so instead of hugging him, I pushed him off of me. Pablo got pissed. Now, in order to understand just how badly I fucked up by doing this, you need to know a little bit about Pablo. Pablo was a 50-year-old gang member and the leader of the Del Rey Mafia. He was also a former heroin dealer who had done time in a Mexican jail. This is not a guy you want to mess with. So after I pushed him off of me, a pissed-off Pablo sat down at my dining room table and started to rip into me. He kept talking about how dirty I was, and I kept laughing because I was sitting there in a bathrobe with wet hair. It was obvious that I had just gotten out of the shower. When he realized that the insults weren't working, he started pulling guns out. He had 4 on him in total, and talking about how he needed to clean up the neighborhood. At this point, I was getting a little pissed off myself. I started saying, "Who are you going to get rid of, Pablo? Let's hear some names." I was too mad to realize how stupid it was to do this. What can I say? I was young and stupid. This went on for several minutes until he said, "You don't disrespect me." I held up my hand, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. Say anything you want about me, but I have always treated you with respect." He didn't say a word. He just got up and left. The next day, he sent someone over with a dime bag, and everyone started talking about how Pablo was afraid of me. It was just hilarious to me because I knew that Pablo thought that I wasn't afraid of guns. Truth be told, I am afraid of guns. I just get mad when people talk shit about me when they're in my house. Okay, so by now you should be familiar with the central characters of this story. As to the other gang members, you just need to know that they were just unbelievably cold-hearted. They would not only shoot and or beat the living shit out of people, they would also talk girls into trying a shot of whiskey by showing them a glass of water that they could drink if the whiskey was too strong for them. The glass of water was actually vodka. So when these girls, who were usually between 15 to 19 by the way, actually drank the shot, they would inevitably grab the water and take a huge drink. Once the girls passed out or were too drunk to fight them off, the gang members would take turns sexually assaulting them. It was horrifying. Fast forward to the day we were due to move out. Pablo and 2 of the gang members came to the door, and when I opened the door, they pushed their way in and started waving guns around. Having just woken up, I was not prepared for this. I just kept saying, "What the fuck, Pablo? What is your problem?" Pablo and Carlitos, Pablo's grandnephew and actually a cool guy, he just went along with things because he didn't want to be killed, stood in my living room and announced that they weren't allowing me to move out because we knew too much. My response? Try telling your guys to stop coming to our house and telling us all your damn business. For some unknown reason, they left for a while, so my husband and I packed our cats up in the car and ran to his parents' house. My father-in-law rented us a U-Haul and we headed back to the house. Surprisingly, they let us go back into our house, and when we got back inside the house, we found that they had broken in and stolen the crappiest things we owned along with our dog, who was not crappy. About 20 gang members started gathering on the sidewalk out front, so my father-in-law called the police, who were well familiar with the gang. As we were gathering our things to get them into the U-Haul, we realized that the number of gang members had grown to over 40. Needless to say, we were getting nervous, especially when they started taunting us and shouting about how we were going to regret trying to leave. No one leaves the gang, as if we had ever been members, without their permission. They had started coming back towards the front door. Next thing we know, 8 cop cars come from both ends of the street. It was pretty impressive. The police told us to pack up everything we owned and get the fuck out. So of course, we did. I have one more story about the gang that happened after we moved away that's much shorter and actually a bit funny, even though it was scary at the time. Let me know if you want to see that one. Oh my god. Kailani. Oh my god. Oh my god, girl. Yes, I want to hear all these stories. I'm sorry, but I think people that live in Detroit must have like the best stories. 'Cause every time I go to Detroit, there's something crazy happens. And I just love that really thick Detroit accent too. Like, you got a dollar? No, that's Boston. That's New York. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, but girl, that's a good story. I can't believe you got out of that safely. I mean, did you? There's still another story, so did you? I mean, you must have been. You have little children jumping around on you all day, so I think it might be okay. But wow. I can't even imagine. That's fucking crazy. I don't think I would have handled it like you did. If somebody started like flashing guns in my face, I am so scared of guns. Like, they terrify me. Like, I don't want to be anywhere near them because you never know. Somebody might be like freaking clumsy as hell and they just drop it and just randomly shoots you in the fucking face. You never know. I hate guns so much, but they just make me super nervous. I don't think I would have reacted the same way you did. Like, mad props to you. I'm kind of like fangirling over you right now. All right, my dudes, that's all the stories I've got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please smash that like button. Don't forget to share and subscribe and hit that little bell icon to be notified of future videos just like this one so you never miss them, because YouTube is having some kind of shit conniption fit with its algorithm. We don't know what's happening. But anyway, as always, the links to these stories will be in the description, so head on over to Reddit, my dudes, and show those posters some love with some upvotes. You know they deserve it. And I promise you, Percy, I'm getting to a no sleep and let's not meet video. Nobody's getting back to me, so those are the subreddits I do not like to post without getting permission from the authors first. So as soon as I have enough permission, then I will be posting one of those videos with Percy's story. I'm so sorry. It's just nobody wants to get back to me, so so my dudes, if you have a no sleep or let's not meet story, then send it my way. Send me those memes, send me those pictures. I love hearing from you guys. All right, so until next time, you guys have a fantabulous fucking day, and I will see you in the next episode.